Hey, let's do it. It's Eric Arnold, occasionally known as the Big E, and we're here in the secondary studio on this 21st of January 2022. It is a Friday, about 2:15, and we've got a handful of Friday college basketball picks for you, and the the professional football. The big games, the divisional games, the thing. It's the thing this weekend. The four big, quarterfinal games, if you will, to put it into my thinking of college brackets. So we have the big quarterfinal games here this weekend. And let's get to it. I mean, let's not make the video too long. We'll put up here. Here are your names there. Just a bunch of mid-major, as usual. It's mid-major festival here in the sports barn. But there's value in the mid-majors. You just got to pay attention and know a little bit about how college basketball works. You always. It didn't take 2 years ago when I was doing this pretty frequently. I think some people cycled through the barn, checked it out, and then never came back. And they said, this guy picks all road games. There's a lot of value with away teams. You can't just blindly pick every away team, but you got to kind of pay attention. There's some value there. You're looking for teams that are playing in half-empty arenas. I don't think there's a lot of value taking a home team when they're playing in front of 500 fans. You're paying for a home court advantage that doesn't exist. Part of the home court advantage isn't just the fact that you're at home. It's the fact that you've got a lot of fans intimidating the shit out of the referees. So you get the occasional call. You get the occasional, their best player gets into foul trouble. So, as I talk, I couldn't tell you the first thing about any of these games or teams here, other than I could generally guess what conference they're in. Other than that, so we got all away teams in the college. The NFL, I told you people, I'm not following this. So don't hang your hat on these NFL picks. You probably got a better chance of just doing it yourself. But I know that's what you want to hear, so I'll take a wild swing at it. Look. Despite the fact that I'm not following this stuff, generally speaking, you're looking for, let's say this. You're looking for three things in trying to determine where you want to be. One, organization. Is Dan Snyder my owner? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, you got the wrong team. Never, ever play the Washington, whatever the hell they're called. That's just an example. It's a bad franchise. And bad franchises, it permeates everything. So if you know you get a bad franchise, bad ownership, that's one of the places you should start. I made that mistake last weekend. I told you the Cardinals. Well, right there, that's a mistake. All things being equal, the Cardinals, when's the last time they won a Super Bowl? That sort of thing. And it carries through. Bad ownership is death. Ask the Philadelphia 76ers. So, bad ownership, stay away from that. Number two, who's the head coach? Do you have a better head coach than the team you're playing against? That's what you're trying to look for there. And then number three, who's your quarterback? You good quarterback, good head coach, pretty good ownership, you're in the ballpark. Now, unfortunately, we're in the playoffs, and oftentimes all of these teams have all the same thing. It's like, okay, so is Andy Reid a better coach than Sean McDermott? Difficult. It's not, sometimes it's easy, but sometimes now in the playoffs, not so easy to pick out, you don't have Joe Judge to play against anymore. So now what are you going to do? So first game, I came down with the Bengals. Who's the quarterback at Tennessee? I know who it isn't. It isn't Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow is really an impressive quarterback. I'm thinking he is on. If he doesn't get hurt, he certainly looks like he's the next whatever, fill in the blank. Aaron Rodgers, um, Mahomes, Brady. Brady's in a class by himself because he just wins. So I don't know we even mentioned him in the same breath. But Burrow is definitely on path to be the next great quarterback. I think. Tannehill, is he quarterbacking in Tennessee? Again, not following this. Um, okay, it's just okay. Uh, I think we're getting value here with the Bengals. We're getting 3.5 points. I mean, that extra half point. If you look up the Bengals' away record against the spread over, say, the past 10 years, it's sneakily good. It's like, wow. Who knew that the Bengals covered pretty much more, and not just that much over 500, it's a lot over 500. The Bengals are not a bad franchise. I know what you Brown haters are going to come up with, of people that are watching this that know anything about Cincinnati, that hate the Brown family. Uh, they're cheap. Maybe frugal. That was always my uncle's word. He was, some would argue, cheap, but he liked the word frugal. I'm frugal. This guy would keep up cardboard boxes for 30 years ago because he would use it to freeze things in the freezer, and then he just reused the cardboard box. Well, why not? I mean, it still holds its shape, and he doesn't have to empty out another empty milk carton then, so he just keeps the old milk carton from 30 years ago. I don't know if that's cheap or frugal, but that's what stuff he would do. So the Brown family in Cincinnati, definitely frugal at best, cheap at worst. But I don't think that means they don't want to win. They're almost cheap and frugal by necessity. It's not like they have the money and just want to throw it, just don't want to spend it. They don't have the money. I mean, it's a small market team. But I think this is an ownership that does want to win. And I think their against the spread record reflects that. Compared against, say, the Jets, a big market team that's just terrible. Just terrible. So I don't know that's a bad franchise in Cincinnati. Tennessee, it's an okay team. Nice. Not thrilling, but nice. I picked them just randomly out of the air to go to the Super Bowl this year. So I'm coming off it. I'm not married to that random pick that I just made. I kind of think the Bengals are to play here, just because Burrow. I think Zach Taylor is a good young coach that's coming up through the ranks. I like the Bengals here. That's it. Niners, Packers. The Niners are a team that gives Rodgers trouble. One of the few teams, I think, over the Rodgers era that he has a losing record against, I think. I'm talking off the top of my head just because I don't have the stats in front of me. I looked it up quickly. If he doesn't have a losing record, it's close. Let's put it that way. I know the Niners went up there at some point in the Rodgers era and beat him, in the playoffs. So that franchise has done it before. Rodgers has experienced the L at home in January to a 49er team. So you're getting a good number of points here. I'm not that impressed with the Packer team. I just wasn't throughout the year. I just kind of was like, oh, yeah, if this team plays somebody good instead of just beating up the clowns in the NFC North, they might have a struggle here. So they're really stepping up in class here, and they're favored by 5.5 points. That's a steep hill to climb. The Niners are a good, tough team. That's a good, tough team if they can just avoid the big Jimmy Garoppolo mistake. I was impressed, but I did not think the 49ers would be able to shut down the Cowboys like they did. And they did. They just shut them down. So I'm a believer now in the 49ers. Let's see if they can do it again and slow down Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to say they can. Keep the game close, lose by a field goal or so, or win it outright. Who knows? The only game I got a strong feeling about is this Buccaneer game. I've said all year the Buccaneers are the best team. I said they're going to repeat. That's the only thing I feel pretty comfortable with about the entire season. And here they are playing in a revenge situation against the team that beat them earlier in the year. I really feel comfortable about this game, especially only laying 3 points. I think the Buccaneers are much the best here today. I've been telling you that the Rams are not going to make the Super Bowl. That's like basically 2 things I feel good about this year. The Buccaneers are the best team, and Matthew Stafford is not going to be in the goddamn Super Bowl. And here you have the 2 things combining. I love the Buccaneers in this game. So that's about as simple as I can make that. Bills, Chiefs, who knows? This is another one for me that I don't have a clue. I'm going to take the Bills. I'm just going to say it's their time. They look fantastic against the Patriots. I guess if you were wanting to play the Chiefs here, what you would tell yourself is that the Bills will be hungover after beating Bill Belichick, which had to be a cathartic, emotion-filled game that just ripped that monkey off your back and finally... And then, they got nothing left to face an excellent Kansas City Chiefs team. I'm not going to go there. I just think that they beat the Patriots so easily. It wasn't a close game. So I'm thinking they didn't expend that much physical or emotional energy in that game. I think they're just a really good team. Where I come down with the Chiefs is I don't like their defense. The Eagles played their defense early in the year. The Eagles had a bad offense at that point, and the Eagles were able to move the ball on the Chiefs. And the Eagles couldn't move the ball on anybody back then. So I thought, this Chief defense is terrible. Now, I don't know if it's gotten any better. I don't think it really has. I mean, hey, Andy had to go into Cincinnati with a chance for the bye, which is about as important as it gets in the NFL, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't get it done. Cincinnati is better than the Chiefs. That's what I believe. So if Cincinnati's better than the Chiefs, then who else is better than the Chiefs? Where do you put the Bills in relation to the Bengals? Better or worse? Better or worse? I would say pretty commonly most people would say, well, the Bills are better than the Bengals. Well, if you think the Bills are better than the Bengals, then the Bills are better than the Chiefs. And the games in Kansas City, do we give that a whole lot of weight? I don't think it matters that much where they play these games. So we're going to go ahead and say the Bills, you're getting paid. You're getting paid. You're getting paid an extra 2 points. This comes down to a 2-point conversion game, and you got, 2 guys that probably, you're thinking who we got on the sideline, Andy and his acolyte, McDermott. If it came down like the last score and I go for 2 to win, they're kicking the point. Neither guy would have the balls to just say, we're going for 2 and I'll live with the consequences. That's not happening. They're going to kick the point. But you never know. So 2 points is better than no points. We'll take the 2 points. That's all we got. Hey, have a great weekend. I doubt we'll have any kind of college picks for you, at least on Saturday. Maybe Sunday. It's a little lighter card, and it's easier for me to throw together a quick video on a lighter card than generating one that's got 78 picks on it. So we're playing. The college basketball goes on while, unbeknownst to you, because I'm 7/8 of my picks. I'm just playing them without putting them on the internet. Still on the up and up. We're still going forward. 54.5% is what we're hitting. So let's keep that going. Hey, thanks for being here. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We'll talk to you later. Eric Arnold, out.